Hello, party people, beautiful people. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Welcome to another empowering episode of Pep Talks with Megan De La Concha. That is me, your host. If you are a first-time listener, welcome. You landed on a good episode, but let's be real. Every episode is a good episode, okay? That is a shameless plug right there. But for real, welcome. And if you're wondering if you just stumbled upon this podcast, if you have been hearing about it via social media, maybe a friend recommended it to you, here is what it's all about. So here we come together every week, or let's be honest, sometimes every 2 weeks because life happens. And Pep Talks with Megan De La Concha is just a space for a half an hour and 45 minutes where we can just come and just be. And what does that really mean, right? Because you hear it all the time, come and just be who you are. That means this is a sacred space for me, especially that I'm sharing with you, because not only am I opening up to you and becoming, super vulnerable and sharing exactly what is happening in my life in real time and sharing raw emotions and fears and doubts and experiences and also celebrations and wins, but this is a space for you to come and 100% completely accept who you are. And here is the caveat: without judgment. It is so hard for us to just accept everything we are and everything we want to be and where exactly we are in this very moment without the judgment, without the past creeping up on us or us worrying about the future and wondering what it's like when we get to this place or have this or have that. This is a space that I want you to just come and just accept everything you are and where you are in this moment. And with that being said, accepting who you are right now does not mean settling. Let's get very clear on that. That is not a nail in the coffin for you. Okay, that does not mean that this is just how life is and these are the cards that God dealt you, right? And this is just who I am. No, that is not an excuse. Accepting who you are and where you are right now allows you to open up the awareness and to celebrate everything that you are and everything that you've been through, right? But then to also be inspired and empowered to strengthen not only the strengths you already have, but also the weaknesses that you want to work on, whether it's external or internal. So accepting who you are and where you are right now is the very first step in order for you to move forward in healing, move forward in who you want to be and living the life that you want to live and breaking toxic habits and toxic cycles and doing it all with love and grace. So welcome, my friends. And for those of you who are faithful listeners, I can't thank you enough for sticking with me. I love each and every one of you. I get feedback from you guys all the time, and it just makes my day. Out of my entire business, coaching and this podcast, which is kind of like coaching, is my two most favorite aspects about this business that I am in. So the reason why there's been kind of a little bit of lapse is, number one, that's just how things go, right? And number two is because I'm really becoming super intentional on putting more value into my podcast. It's the one thing that I love the most, but to be transparent, I feel like it's the one thing that I give my least attention to. So in this new season that God is bringing me in, and I can feel it wholeheartedly, I am really focused on being more prepared for my podcast, on doing the prep work, on doing more research so that I can bring more value to you. So it takes a little bit of time. And as we know, we are all dealing with things outside of the business world that need our priority, right? There's going to be some time in your life where your business needs your full focus and attention. And there's also going to be times in your life where your loved ones need your full focus and attention. And there's no shame in any of it. And I hope you accept whatever comes your way in whatever season as it is. And you put the focus where the focus needs to be, because it's all the work, right? Everything that you do in your life the laundry to your business or your work or your career. It is all a part of the work. So getting right into today's episode, again, being transparent, I feel that coming into this change, coming into this situation or this, just season where I'm putting more intention and focus on things that I truly love about this business and that actually give value to you, which are my coaching and my podcast. So one of my main goals in the next 3 to 6 months is to really focus on the value of my podcast and also really kind of going forth and going with the momentum of YouTube. So I have been trying all different types of ways to organize my to-do list, organize my schedule, and I just have seemed to not be able to get into a flow. So I just want to point out really quick, I'm not wearing any makeup, and I know I'm not pointing that out for any reason besides the fact that this is just how I feel today. I feel fresh-faced, still not afraid to come on here, right? Because this message needs to be heard. And quite honestly, I just didn't have the time to go into my bathroom and paint the barn, as they say. Also, I have wine. Yes, and you might be listening to this sipping on your latte, on your espresso, on your coffee, on your tea, Monday morning, Tuesday morning. But I am sitting here, and at the time I'm recording this, I am having wine. Why? Because I want it, and I totally deserve it. So this is like the mood that I'm in. So again, back to the point. Lately, it's been really hard for me to find a flow in my daily schedule. And I know we have all been there. I mean, life throws you curveballs. Some days you wake up super motivated. Sometimes it's really hard to sit yourself down in front of the computer or drive yourself to work or, all of that good stuff. So it's really come to a point where it's almost like my self-worth or my value has been put into the tasks that I am able or not able to get done, to the point where I'm thinking to myself, I'm a total failure because I'm not getting you an episode every single Monday, because I honestly have not been able to find the time to record, right? And for those of you who don't know, I do have 2 young children, one of them who is in school, but the hours are limited, driving him to school, picking up to school, driving him to baseball at nights. And my youngest one is home with me all the time, and he's smack dab in the middle of being 2 years old, and he's at the point where he doesn't necessarily want to nap all the time. So there goes really my time to sit down and work. So it's been really hard to kind of navigate around my podcast and around work in general, and to the point where it's been really kind of weighing on, am I good enough? Should I be doing this? It's all falling apart. It's all crumbling below me. I'm a fraud. I'm not being consistent. I'm losing listeners, etc., etc. So of course, in my time with the Lord, he always speaks to me through words. Well, duh. That was a novel idea. Obviously, he speaks to me through words on paper, so through my devotional, and he also speaks to me during dreams. And there has been a running theme in the last 2 months that I wasn't even aware, and it didn't click until just a few days ago. So I took notes, and I wanted to share with you because this is very true about where I've been in my life. And the title of this is your to-do list your idol? Now, when we think about, having other idols, especially in biblical terms, or when it comes to having other idols before God or placing other idols before God, we think about things such as money. We think about things such as material items, maybe desires of the flesh. We think of those type of idols, right? Greed and envy and pride. But our idols can come in a lot of many different forms, just like I believe the last episode was on how our securities can come in many different forms. Our idols can come in many different forms. And one of those is your daily to-do list, right? So I know I myself, I'm talking solely on a personal level, that I do desire a simple lifestyle so that, I can do my day as smoothly and as uninterrupted as possible. And for those of you who isn't like this, who have many things to do without their day, and taking care of children, taking care of loved ones, taking care of pets, taking care of their own dang selves, we all want really smooth, uninterrupted days. And the truth is that it just doesn't happen like that. So I personally have a fantasy of a completely uncluttered world, and that means internal and external. I find that, I will have a plan either the night before or the day of, which is always good to have. Don't get me wrong. But if things don't go smoothly enough for me to hit every single one of my tasks, including laundry, including making dinner or prepping for dinner, including working out, including just time frames I set for myself, I feel it's like just a downward spiral, and almost an internal downward spiral. So I definitely have been living with this fantasy of an uncluttered world. And I think that's really contributing to the fact that I feel I don't have enough time, when in fact, I most certainly do have enough time, because God provides my time, and God can bend time, right? He can make up for lost time. He can make up for lost days and years. Like, I forget how all powerful He is. But then again, that's me putting limitations on my own self that don't need to be put there. If I just sit down and record, God's going to provide the time for me to do so. I just need to do it instead of getting ahead of myself, right? Going to steps 3 and 4 and saying, well, I'm not going to have time because I have this, this, and this. When, as a matter of fact, the time that I spent worrying about or thinking about why I didn't have enough time, I could have come on here and easily recorded something for you guys. Because let's face it, it's all about the words. It's not about how I look. It's not about what's behind me, what's beside me, what's in front of me. It's all about right here in the presence of God and Him coming through me and sharing this valuable message with you, whether it's faith-based or not, right? So I'm sure you guys can agree, we love to plan and organize and analyze our day in order to get everything done on our to-do list. And the goal of most days are to go to bed with all of our boxes checked. I know I feel a measure of success when I go to bed at night and I'm like, yes, I got everything done. Now, don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with feeling that way. That's amazing and a total accomplishment. But are you putting your worth in that? Are you relying on that check mark on that to-do list to measure who you are as a person and how good you are in this life and how organized you are, how valuable you are, right? Like, are you using those check boxes? Are you using that crossed off to-do list as some sort of credit or standard as to how good you're doing in life? I mean, I know I for sure did. If I didn't get anything done on my list, I would go to bed feeling like a complete failure, thinking about all the things I didn't do instead of recognizing all the things I did do. And I'm not sure if I did a podcast on this or not, but I feel like this is vaguely familiar. And maybe this is just because it's an internal conversation I have with myself all the time. But I have to sit down and focus on the things that I did do, because the things that I did do that day mattered. And I don't care if it's I sat on my butt and I watched Netflix and I chilled out all day long and I ordered a pizza, because that's just what I needed. It's what my soul needed. I was tired. I was drained. I needed to rest, and I listened to that. That is a successful day. That's an accomplished day. When it comes to checking off boxes or when you put value in the things that are filling up your day and filling up your life. So we make a target of checking off all the boxes. We make that our goal or our target for the day. And again, we measure on how successful we were that day by what our to-do list, looks like at the end of the day. And we let the written or the mental to-do list drive our day. So it drives our stress levels, it drives our mental peace, it drives our self-worth, and it drives our value. I mean, think about it. How frustrated do you get when you go and I got absolutely nothing done today, or I'm not getting anything freaking done today, right? I know my frustration level goes through the roof if I'm already a minute off schedule at 8:01 in the morning. if I'm too busy hustling my kids and yelling at my kids and scrambling around because maybe I wasn't prepared enough, maybe, my oldest was maybe he didn't sleep well that night, so he's a little sluggish in the morning. Maybe I'm getting mad at him because he's eating his breakfast. He's taking too long to eat his breakfast when we're told our entire lives, take your time, be mindful when you're eating, it helps your digestion. And I'm over here like, hurry it up, already inducing anxiety and stress in him, right? So we see how this is a domino effect, and we see how this creates our entire environment. When we are already flustered and frustrated because we're not getting the things done on our list that we are like so honed in to wanting to get done, like that is our main focus. So we set out to control and fix everything so that it fits into our day. And I know all of you can relate to that, right? But God instructs us to accept each day as it comes. And how that is done is by constantly communicating with Him. So a successful day, according to God, is not checking off all the boxes, but is one in which you stayed in touch with God all day long, no matter what was going on outside around you, or what you feel you need to get done, or what you thought you needed to get done. So even if many things are left undone, or if everything is left undone at the end of the day, the most successful day is that you constantly returned your focus to Him, because ultimately we can write out times and durations and events all day long, but He is the ultimate guide. He is the ultimate author of our life. So who better than to surrender that list to Him? And then, again, I'm not saying just wake up every day and be like, okay, whatever, have a plan, obviously, right? God can only do so much. Like, we are responsible, meaning that we are responsible and we have to be held accountable for the things that we want to get done. So it's always so good to have a plan, but write out your plan and give it to God and say, is this what you want me to do today? I know an amazing friend of mine by the name of Ramisha Nicole. She actually has her own podcast, and the Ramisha Nicole Show. And I was actually a guest on it recently. And she introduced me to I don't know if whoever is into Clubhouse. I haven't been on it. It's just been too much right now. It's just, that's not where I need to focus on, but kudos to everyone who's been on there. I'm so super proud of you. I see you guys out there doing your thing. Like, you have all my amazing good vibes sending your way. But there is a group on Clubhouse, and I believe it's called the Kingdom Network. I will clarify that with her. But they do a prophetic planning session every single day. Unfortunately, I can't attend that because at the time they have it is the time I'm driving my son and getting him ready to school and driving him to school. But it's so important. It's prophetic planning. It's literally a time where you can meditate and come into the presence of the Lord and invite Him into your schedule and invite Him into your day and say, this is what I want to get done today, but what is it that you want me to get done today? This is my idea of how my day should go, but if this is not according to your will or your desire, I surrender the outcome to you, right? So open my ears and open my heart and open my eyes to the things that you want me to focus on, because sometimes there are things way out of the blue, and sometimes we're focusing on things that we feel have no purpose, in quotations, in our business or are not moving us forward. But in fact, it's the behind the scenes work because we don't know everything, right? We don't know why God brings people into our lives. We don't know why we go through situations, small or big. But if that's what God wants you to focus on that day, that's what you need to focus on that day, because He works everything together for a pattern of good. So a successful day is focusing on Him and staying in touch with Him throughout the day, just giving everything to God, right? Being in constant communication allows us to live above our circumstances. And that is so important, because when we live above our circumstances, AKA our to-do list, do not become our focus point, right? It allows God to direct our life moment by moment, not our to-do list, not our check marks. So when things feel out of control, when our routines are not running smoothly, when we tend to feel anxious, confused, and tired and frustrated, we feel more secure when life is predictable, right? So we put our security in, again, an uncluttered life. We put our security in a simple, in an uninterrupted, in a smooth life, in a predictable life. So when you're shaken out of your comfortable routine, as I was and am, I have to turn to him even more versus rebelling in the act of getting frustrated and getting mad and getting angry and acting like I'm getting nothing done because nothing is checked off my list. Well, it's not even really my list. Like, God's like, cool, that's a cool list you got there. It's a lot of ink and words, but that's not going to get you where you want to go. Turn to me. I have your day already mapped out moment by moment. And my intention for this is to get you where you need to go, but you have to trust me on this. You have to surrender your to-do list to me. So again, when we're shaken out of our comfortable routines, turn to him. Look for the growth opportunities instead of moaning and complaining about our loss of comfort. Accept the challenge of something new. And when you do that, you say yes to the ways that God is working in your life, even if you don't recognize them, even if they aren't comfortable, even if they seem insignificant to you. Constantly turn to him and say yes to the ways that God is working in your life. He has designed us to trust him moment by moment. He's designed our day into 24-hour blocks, and 8 of those we're hopefully sleeping, because we as human beings in our feeble minds, we can't handle much else, right? We're frail as humans, and we can't take the load of more than one day, and he knows that. That's exactly why he gives us little tiny pieces one at a time. That's why we don't see all of the blessings that are lying ahead of us. We also don't see all the struggles lying ahead of us. We would not be able to comprehend that, right? So he knew what he was doing when he formed our day into 24-hour blocks. He knew that we cannot stand any more than that. Even though we think we're awesome, we're only awesome because of the strength that he gives us. And the strength that he gives us is daily strength. Give us our daily bread, right? What we need on the daily. Remember when he was taking the Israelites through the wilderness and they were hungry and moaning and complaining, and manna was raining straight down from heaven? He told them to take only what you needed for that day. Do not take anything more. Well, of course, because we're human, we take more because why? We're scared we're not going to have enough the next day. We don't know what's going to happen. We want to be prepared. We want to be in control for what happens before it ever happens, right? So those who took extra manna, guess what happened the next day? It was rotted with maggots and mold. And God still provided for them day after day after day, but only what they needed for that day. It's exactly the same thing with your to-do list. He's only going to create opportunities and events for you to do that day. And sometimes that looks like sleeping. It looks like self-care. It looks like spending extra time with family, fellowship with friends, worshiping, spending time with him, more time than you usually do, right? So we have to accept the limitations of the day. He's created us to stay conscious of him as we go about our daily duties. So again, we have to accept the limitations of living one day at a time. Choosing is the key word, to trust that there is a time for everything, and also everything in its time. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat that. Choosing to trust that there is a time for everything, and everything in its time. Whatever you don't get done that day will still be there tomorrow and might have a greater impact. You might learn something new that you can bring to the table, right? You might be better equipped to have a phone call or to write that paper or to do that podcast or write that book, right? We don't know. Again, when we don't let things unfold in the way that they need to unfold, we miss the lesson and the blessing. And I did a whole podcast on that last week. So when you choose to live close to God and seek him in your everyday tasks, He will clear the clutter and the debris from your heart so that it stays soft, so that it stays open to, and so that your desires are his desires and his desires become your desires. Know that he is going to provide you with the strength to get through this day. Every single day. Again, he's going to give you the strength to get through that day. He's going to give you the strength moment by moment. When you need it, he's going to give it to you. He's not going to give it to you before or after, right? When you need it, hour by hour, you're going to get it. You will receive. You have to be open to receiving that. And being open to receiving that means constantly focusing on him, continually having a conversation with him throughout your day. Don't waste your energy wondering or worrying if you're adequate for today's journey, because you are. His spirit within you is more than sufficient to handle whatever today brings. Your alone time with him and your confident trust is your strength, right? Again, your alone time with him, your trust in him, your confident trust, that is your strength to handle whatever today brings. You are adequate enough. You are sufficient enough to handle what he has in store for you. Or guess what? He would never give it to you. He's never going to give you more than you can handle. All of the day's events are already arranged from the time you wake up to form into this amazing pattern. And on some days, your will and his will flow smoothly, right? Sorry, I was going from my notes. And here is where you will feel in control of your life and in harmony. Here's where you'll find predictability. Here is where you'll find the smoothness and the moments that are uninterrupted, right? But then other days, you're going to feel as if you're swimming upstream against the current. And when this happens, stop. Just pause and return to him. Seek his face. Say yes to the ways he's working in your life. Seek the new opportunities. Look for the growth. Don't go back to what feels familiar. Man, I'm merging all of my podcasts here. Don't go back to what is familiar, and that is complaining and moaning and groaning. And I just was doing the same thing. And I constantly have to be aware, and I constantly have to self-correct and say, whoa, okay, this is what I'm doing. Let me repent. Sorry, God. Please forgive me. Now, what is it that you wanted me to do? I'm listening. I'm done. I threw my temper tantrum. I apologize. Right? So how that is done is just talking. Talk to him about what you're experiencing. Let him guide you. Bring yourself, your problems, what you're feeling to him. Don't focus your energy on trying to analyze everything. Don't analyze the intricacies of this day, but focus your energy on him by thanking him and choosing to trust him, saying yes to the ways that he is working in your life moment by moment. Do not worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about the manna tomorrow, and don't worry about the past. Don't get stuck on yesterday. When God gives you special guidance, stay exactly where you are and just concentrate on doing your everyday tasks, being aware of his presence, that he is with you. Be thankful for your quiet days when nothing special seems to be happening. Instead of being bored by the lack of action, right? Use that time to seek God further. Okay, God, nothing is going on. You must be preparing me to really hear what you have to say. So I am now listening. I am now putting my seatbelt on, and I'm putting my noise canceling headphones on, and I am ready to sit with you and listen instead of, oh my God, nothing is happening. I can't do anything right. And there's nothing going on. It's like crickets out there, right? I'm bored. So let me do this. Let me try to do something that I feel I should be doing, but I know I really shouldn't be doing because it doesn't feel right, or questioning or being angry. Right? Use that time to seek God. When you collaborate your day and your routine with him, you allow his desires to merge with yours. But you have to accept, say yes to everything he's doing in your life. And when you collaborate your day and your routine with him, again, you allow his desires to merge with yours. And that, my friends, is the secret to joyous and victorious living. Constantly seeking him, constantly saying yes to him, constantly communicating with him. This is where you become richly blessed when you trust God moment by moment. Choose to trust him with the routines of your day, right? Choose to trust him with your daily to-do list. Do not let those check marks become your idol. So that, my friends, has been the learning lesson for me, is to just surrender my list to him, right? Be planned, be prepared. But I have to stop worrying and analyzing and overreacting when I'm not checking 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock off. When I go to bed and I say, you know what, today was an amazing day, because so many things happened that weren't on my to-do list that I could have never even imagined. But because I gave control, because I surrendered, because I said, yes, God, work in my day, moment by moment. This is how you designed me. So I will honor that. These are the boundaries of my day. These are the limitations of my day. And you are in control. When the moment I wake up, you already know what I'm supposed to be doing. I have to listen to that. So I pray that from this day forward, you ask God, you bring every single thing to him on the table. You can be mad. You can be frustrated. He wants you to come as you are. He made you. He knows how you feel. He doesn't want you to come all fake. He doesn't want you to come all, this is how I really feel, but because it's God, I have to come a certain way. He doesn't entertain that. He's like, no, come back when you're ready. Right? So I hope from this day forward, in your prayers and your everyday, just you're continuously just communicating with him, even if it's just a Lord Jesus, help me. Right? It doesn't have to be this sitting in a quiet corner. I got to go find a quiet corner, and have an hour-long conversation. No, it's just talking. You know how when you talk to yourself in your head, we'll just direct that to God. So ask him every day to soften your ears, soften your eyes, soften your heart, that you are open to saying yes to him, and that you accept his will into your life moment by moment. Choose to trust him in your daily routine. Make God, always have God as your idol, your ultimate idol, right? Live above your circumstances. And the only way to do that is to thank him for every opportunity that comes into your life, to say yes to his work in your life, no matter what that looks like to you, and allowing him to control your daily tasks by you seeking his face every single day and just being aware of his amazing and powerful presence, because he can bend events. He can bend time. He can make up time. He can make up hours in the day we didn't even know we had. I hope you have a wonderful and empowering week. So excited to have brought this to you today. I will talk to you soon. Be well. And remember to wash your hands.